And you know, I definitely want to talk about the Brat, because the Brat was the first woman artist that you signed to So So Def. And for myself growing up, the Brat was like the most amazing thing when she came out. But at first you didn't even want to work with a female artist. So, and I feel like that's something that has been a recurring theme throughout the music business. Women are harder to deal with. It costs more money to break a woman artist. Men don't listen to female artists, you know, it's harder for them to be successful. So what was your thinking behind that, and how has that changed?
Well, the Brat actually changed that for me, but at the same time, the Brat's project was probably the hardest project that I've ever put together, because I made song after song after song after song, and I could not figure it out. And Brat's project actually was the project that made me start really realizing, or maybe not realize, but made me start questioning if I was really good and if what I had done was luck. Because, I was used to going in the studio, making a song, and okay, the first song might not be so good, but the second song, I figure it out. With Brat, it took me 2 years to get functified. And I worked every day. If anybody watched me, I'm in the studio every night. I've been out, and I was in the studio more when I was younger. And I worked every night writing a song, trying to figure out writing. I couldn't figure it out for the life of me, because I knew just what you said. And the third thing that you said was that guys don't listen to female rap. At that time, when I put Brat together, or we're bringing Brat out, that was like at the height of the whole conversation. No guys wanted to be like caught dead riding around listening to a female rapper. That was just like not the cool thing. I'm not gonna be riding around listening to a female. So I had to figure out something that would make guys gravitate to Brat and then listen to her. Like, what was make her cool enough to make her fit in with you, so you would kick it with her. And I was just telling somebody this the other night. It was the weed. Like, once I saw her smoking, I saw her smoke weed with the rest of my homies. I was just like, that's it. You gotta start talking about you. Because at first I wasn't doing that. I wasn't talking about her smoking weed. I was just trying to make her, like, if you hear her rapping on the Crisscross record, her raps ain't really nothing about what happened in Functified. It was like more or less about a female just being able to spit. And that wasn't gonna work back then.
And obviously you had Mulatto before she got as huge as she is today. So what are your thoughts now on like signing women rappers? You know, obviously we know about the statements that you said that you got a lot of backlash for, and I've seen you explain it, multiple times. But where are you at now when it comes to women rappers?
I'm really, it's the public really, I think female rappers is more or less like what you was talking about at the beginning. If the public wants it, then the females should do what they do. I still feel the same way I always felt about female rappers. It's a difficult thing. It's tough for female rappers. And I just feel like they have to come with as much heavy content as possible so that it is credited different. And they get the credit for it in a different light, because I don't think, like I said, a lot of these female rappers that's coming out now, they don't even know the history of female rap, period, to know that to know that it was an era when female rappers that I felt like was amazing still didn't get the credit. Like Moni Love. When I remember when Moni Love came out, everybody was going crazy over Moni Love. Moni in the middle, like she was crazy. And Queen Latifah brought out, and it was, but I used to be in love with like Antoinette and The Boss and all of these females that was really rapping, right? And I saw that piece of it. Like, if you really could rap as a female, you still wasn't getting what you needed to get out of hip hop. So I just think that it's still in I wouldn't say infant stage, but I wouldn't say infant stage, but I would say it's still in the early stages of females, like really, really, I guess, remaining and staying for a long time. Like the way Salt-N-Pepa, they had a whole lifetime career at this. It's gonna be interesting to see who makes that run.
It's because guys never have to do that, right? Like, guys don't have to study the history of the rappers and they don't even have to have the amazing lyrical content and do all of those things, but they can still be successful. You have a Grammy, does that matter to you? I mean, it feels to me like you've gotten these accolades, and like we were discussing earlier, a lot of people like you from East Coast, West Coast, from the South. You get a lot of respect and you've had a lot of longevity in this game. So I don't see how you could think that people don't like you, but.
You know, because I'm still a competitor. I'm very much a competitor, right? So you know, like I feel like at any given time, if I was to do anything, people would show me their true energy. Like, say, for instance, like when I started beefing with Dr. Dre and Eminem, right? I never wanted to beef with these guys. Like, I feel like Dr. Dre is the best hip hop producer in life, right? And I said this before we had a beef, and I'm saying it after I beef and all of this, right? But somebody asked me a question about me, Timbaland, and Dr. Dre. And they was like, yo, if I put 3 rooms up here and I put each one of you guys in a room, who's coming out with the song first? And I said, me. Of course, like I write songs. This is what I do. They are on record for letting other people write songs for them, and whatever the hits records that they have that we know about, somebody else penned them, right? And that's not my situation. So if you ask me that question, I'm gonna tell you my honest to God's truth, right? And I said it just like I'm saying it to you right now, and that turned us into having a beef, and that's like, you know, that ain't no real reason to be dissing each other. Like, I just said what I feel like is a true statement. So, and like I said, when I look at that, I already look at it like people feel like I'm their competition, or people already don't like me. So they already in a little jar. So all that happens, if I touch it in any kind of way, they gonna let it loose. So that's how I be thinking anyway. So I feel like, yeah, people like me, but it's just like when you have this conversation about the verses, right? If you have people talking about Puff Daddy and Jermaine going against verses, did you hear how Steve Stout was talking about me?
No, what did he say? I didn't hear Steve Stout.
I'll say the most disrespectful he could possibly say about me. Like, Jermaine Dupri, he's not worthy to battle Puff Daddy. Like, if you can fix your mouth to say that, then you don't like me.
Let's put up that So Def Bass All Stars. You know that was my album at the time.
You know, like, if you can fix your mouth to say that and you can get on, you don't like me. You deal with me.
Were you cool
you rock
with
me? I rock with Steve Stout. I've been knowing him for a long time, but I also feel like, you know, that's one of them situations where I feel like they don't really like me. He liked me, but he don't really like me.
You've had an amazing life, and you have a good time all the time, so we can appreciate that, because I think part of work is you're doing what you love and you're having fun doing it. So. Yeah. I just want to say congratulations on everything that you've been doing. So Def's still around, and it's still been morphing into even bigger things. I'm excited to see this show that you're talking about. I think people will love that.
It's going to be a movie, so it's going to be, I mean, you just got to figure it out, and, you know, getting people to even understand it, you know, like even that, it's like so much life that people haven't seen in hip hop that people don't even understand, you know. We show so much of the dark side, and we show so much of the gang violence, and we show so much of drugs and this, that, and the third. We never show, well, I mean, it's not many people that have my story, but even just period, we haven't seen this side of it. You know, we haven't seen the kid that was like completely addicted to hip hop, get into hip hop and become something. This is a story that just, even if it wasn't real, it needs to be shown.
Have you ever felt like you wanted to do trap music at all, being in Atlanta, and Atlanta was so famous for trap music also?
I mean, that's an interesting question to me, because like, I feel like every one of these artists that y'all listen to now that we call trap, they came from me. They came from Bone Crusher, the Young Bloods, Franchise Boys, especially these Franchise Boys. The Franchise Boys are clearly the beginning of what is called trap music now, right? It's like, even like when you look at like Travis Scott remaking White Tee, like Franchise Boys, they the ones that made these, like, In My White Tee, like that's their record. So like I said, that's why I said, when we say trap music, are you talking about music, or you talking about lyrical content with people talking about selling dope? If that's the case, yeah, that's a little different. But as far as the sound of it goes, I was at the helm of it. You know what I'm saying? I signed the first artists that were actually a movement, which is like where the Franchise Boys came out. It was the Franchise Boys and it was D4L. That was the only two ghetto type of artists coming out of Atlanta at the time. This was before any of this stuff that we see right now. And, you know, the whole finger snaps, the dancing, all of that came from the Franchise Boys. That's all So Def.
I guess I'd be thinking you talking about trapping when you do trap music too, though. So you're right. It is also the lyrical content mixed with.
That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people talk about it as more or less some lyrical content. For me, it's all just one genre of music of where it came from. It's more hood oriented sounding records, and you know, Never Scared to me was like the beginning of that, because that was Killer Mike, Bone Crusher, and T.I., right? It was the beginning of everything that you see. So I've been at the hem of it. I just didn't sign the biggest drug dealer of Atlanta.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining me on Established with Angela Yee.